Good evening, fig friends out there in fig land. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at some of these fig tip cuttings that I rooted. It's been about 3 weeks ago, July 4th or 5th. And the root riot ones are showing a lot of roots. The root cubes, the Rockwool cubes, aren't showing as much. Well, they're showing a little bit. Look at that there. Oh, I got roots out the bottom, roots out the top. Little craziness going on there. Little roots just going all over the place. It seems like the root riot cubes. You gotta really pop them out from the bottom. Pull them, you break the roots. Got some in there. Those did really well. But in fairness, that was the Ibiza from, oh no, that was Day Trace's place from 621. So that was a leftover from the last batch that I put in there to give it a little bit more time. So let's see some of these other guys here. There's a July 5th plant. Oop. Oh, longed out. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, geez, Pete. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm not going to have any problem with rooting those. Root riot seems to be really nice. I'm going to get these planted up into 4-inch pots, and then I'll come back and I'll look at the Rockwool cubes and kind of analyze them. So, and I'll show you what those look like. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay, I pulled them all out of the tray. I had 2 losses, and yeah. So I'm gonna, and I had 3 of them that are still not rooted very well. Craven's Craving, Sanguidulce, and another Detrace's plates. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get these planted. So hold tight, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I went ahead and I planted those into the 4-inch pots, and I got them watered in. Got the water, collapsed the soil around the plug so that it's nice and snug and it can have a good time rooting into the surrounding media. And I've got the humidity dome on top. So I'll probably leave it like that for 2 or 3 days and then start cracking it sideways, kind of like this. Maybe a couple days from now, a couple days from now, a couple days from now. And then, yeah, in a week, I'll just take the thing off and I'll be good to go. All right. So, yeah, I've got the other 3 trays out here. Now, these have mostly root, not the root riot, the cubes. Basically, they're a hydroponic Rockwool cube. They're meant for transplanting into Rockwool bricks in a hydroponic type system. Probably in the future I'll stick with the root riot. It seemed to work fine, and yeah, the Rockwool is a little bit more sanitary and a little bit more sterile, but it seemed to be rooting a little bit slower. It was a good trial, but I got crazy roots on some of them and then nothing on others. So it's going to take a little bit more time to make sure that they're all good to go. See, there's nothing on the bottom there, and there's quite a few on the top. They tend to want to grow out the top. And there's a black Tuscan growing pretty much crazy out all over the place. So, problem is, how do I plant these things? They're so big. I'm going to probably have to dump the soil out, or at least half the soil out. And then I'm going to have to cut the corner off there and get this wrapper off. You don't want to leave that plastic wrapper in. And so I'll go get the scissors, and I'll sort out probably a dozen of the best plants and plant those first. and then I'll give the rest of them a little bit more time. So let me go get a pair of scissors and I'll come back and show you how to plant these. Okay, I have everything set up. I'm ready to go. I got my scissors for trimming off the root Rockwool cubes, and so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plant these up the way I would plant them, and hopefully you guys can hear it. I've been having a problem with the volume. It hasn't been very loud, but why don't you come on in here and I got my assistant helping me now, so I'm not doing the camera, so that's good. I'm going to trim the corner just so I can take the wrapping off. And they like to grow out the bottom and not out, and a little bit out the top, but let's just see. Yeah, there's a little bit going on the side. Okay, that's black Tuscan, and there's the plastic wrapper. Definitely don't want to have that in there. I removed the soil out of one of the pots, right? And I'm gonna just put it in there gently. Take a look at that. I dumped half the pot over on here, so I'm just gonna fill that in gently. Again, just like with the root riots, I don't want the Rockwool cube being exposed because it's kind of hard to explain, but it'll act as a wick, and that cube will dry out even though the surrounding soil is fine, and then your plant cannot survive. So covered up like that, it's going to be nice and happy. I'm going to take the next one out, dump a little bit on top, and I'm going to reach for my next plant that's rooted. Again, the root riots didn't do this. I don't have, some of these I don't have anything coming out the bottom. They want to root out the top, so that's okay. We'll let them do that. Take the corner, trim it off again. Nothing really there. Nothing out the bottom either. But I'm gonna go ahead and plant that up anyway, because I know there's roots there. And I'm gonna put it in the humidity dome for a couple more days, so it's not like I'm taking it right from the grow room under the grow lights into a position where it's going to be out in the middle of the sunlight. So it's not like I'm going to create some sort of a shocking environment. Go on to the next one. Okay, let's pick another one here that's rooted really well. What's that one? Oh, Joie Rouge. That's from our good friend Brian Melton in Fresno. Good guy. Not selling this plant, strictly just growing it just because I had it and I wanted to pinch the cutting, make sure that it grew. I have a hard time throwing away stuff, so I'll make sure it grows. So I think you kind of get the idea. I'm just gonna keep going, and let's do a couple more here. Take the soil out of here. Try to speed things up a little bit. I'm trying to do the cubes, if you can look here, I'm trying to do the cubes that are the most rooted, knowing that I'm not going to plant all of them, but I want to plant some of them. I got some lettuce seeds and some other things that I want to grow in the garden for the fall, so I need to make space in the grow room. Let's see, try to find the rooted ones. That's got some roots on it. There's a little root coming out the top. Not a lot though. Harry's Crete did good. Oh, there's a good one. Alright, we'll do a few more here and then I'll finish up the tray. I'll water it in, and we'll put it in the grow bin. Again, it seems to want to grow out the top and not out the sides. And I guess for now, that's the reason why I probably in the future, I like the root riot a little bit better. The root riot was a little faster. I can say I didn't lose any in the Rockwool cubes though, whereas I lost some in the root riot, but the root riot was faster, so maybe that's why the pot shops over there, the marijuana shops, sell both, so you can decide which one you want to use. The roots coming out the top, out the side, and out the bottom on the Nero 600. Harry's Crete. Cutting it was a little bit more lignified on the Harry's Crete, so maybe that's why it rooted a little faster. Ooh, that one went nuts. So go ahead and plant that one. Okay, so that's halfway done. I'm gonna finish up the rest of the tray, water it in, and we'll finish it up. Finishing up here, I picked the ones that had the most roots. Harry's Crete seemed to do really well. If I remember, the cuttings on the Harry's Crete were a little bit lignified, so maybe that's a key to what type of cutting would work a little bit better. I did mostly tip cuttings. Green tip cuttings. Okay, so shake that around a little bit, settle in things around. And then what I did is I condensed the tray down to 2 trays. Okay, so I condensed those trays down to 2 trays from 3 trays, and I'm going to put these back in the front room. Some of these have roots on them, but they're not that well rooted, so but they're holding up pretty well out here. And so let's just go ahead and we're going to water these in. Again, just the soil, collapse the soil around the plug. Let it settle a little bit, and then I'm going to water it in a little bit more. Some of that soil was pretty dry. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I got to actually figure out a way to put these in the humidity domes too, so. Alright, so just like before, we're going to put these, these are pretty heavy. We're going to put these in the 64-liter Sterilite containers, top them, and set them in the shade, and they should be fine. So this is probably the last update that I'm going to do on this. You guys kind of understand what's happening. I'm really confident that these are going to root. It's just going to take some time, and the only way I'll do another update is if something goes wrong here and these don't grow, or they rot, or they do something bad. So, but I'm pretty confident that everything's going to work out. So, so thank you. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you paying attention. I hope you try this and you're successful with it, and you're able to trade your figs for something else so that you can increase your collection, because that's what it's all about. Just having fun with it and learning, and thank you.